Congratulations! You're born in 70 AD Rome. Not just any Rome, the Roman Empire, the one that runs the world and fully believes the gods are personally invested in its real estate. Your father is a patrician, which means good blood, good connections, and a very high opinion of himself at dinner parties. Your mother manages the household with the efficiency of a general and the patience of a saint. Because of her, the house smells like olive oil and fresh linen. You also have siblings, a dog, and a nurse who calls you Little Sparrow. Life is fine, ordinary, safe. Years pass and you turn 7. Unknown to you, somewhere across the city, in an office that smells of old scrolls and self-importance, Rome's chief priest, the Pontifex Maximus, is compiling a list with the name of girls between the ages of 6 and 10. Not just any girls, but girls that meet his requirements. They must be from patrician families and have both parents living. They must also have no physical defects, scandals, blemishes, birthmarks, or bad reputations. Basically, he's shopping. And your father's name is on the good list, which means yours is too. One day your father tells you about a ceremony you absolutely have to attend. They call it the captio, which means capture. You ask why it's named that. All he says is, "You'll find out soon." Later that day, you're brought to the forum. You see other girls and their families there too. You notice everyone is dressed in their finest robes. You also see the Pontifex Maximus there too. You watch as he surveys all of you. You wonder why. Then he points at you and says, "I take you, Amata." Amata is beloved in Latin. You wonder what it means for you, until some priests walk towards you and grab you. You expect your parents to protest or do something, but the only thing you see is your father stepping back. Even your mother's smile doesn't change. You look back at them as the priest leads you away, waiting for one of them to say something, do something, anything. They don't. Because what could they possibly do? Argue with the embodiment of divine authority in front of the entire forum? Refuse a sacred honor in front of the neighbors, their colleagues, their social circle? So they call it a blessing. They call it a privilege. They call it the will of the gods. And that's how you are taken. You're led to the atrium vestae, the house of the Vestal virgins. It's then that you understand what just happened. You've been chosen to be a Vestal virgin. The priestesses that served Vesta, the goddess of the hearth, home, and family that keeps watch over Rome. The atrium vestae is huge, 55 rooms of marble, colonnaded courtyards, and the kind of silence that has rules. It smells like incense and cold stone. You see the priestesses, women in white that look like angels on earth. You're handed over to them. One of them takes you to a chair. Another produces shears. Before you can protest, your hair is already falling. You get no explanation, no comfort, just the cold whisper of metal and the strange lightness of a head you aren't sure belongs to you anymore. After that, they dress you in white. They also give you a new name as they show you your room. That night, you lie on a narrow bed in a complex full of strangers, listening to the city as you imagine yourself back home, with hair being braided by your nurse. But somewhere in Rome, your father is at a dinner party, telling everyone his daughter was chosen. The next morning, a senior priestess explains the duties of a Vestal virgin to you. She tells you that the most important duty in the temple is guarding the sacred flame. She tells you that the sacred flame is what keeps Rome prosperous, that if it dies, disaster will befall Rome. And if that happens, Rome will blame you. She also tells you that virgins are expected to carry water by hand from the sacred spring every morning. You wonder what grudge the goddess has against aqueducts. You're also expected to prepare the mola salsa, the holy salt cake sprinkled on every sacrifice in Rome. She tells you with pride that only virgins can make it. Then she mentions something that you'll never forget, the duration you'll serve for. You're told a virgin is mandated to serve for 30 years, at least. You're 7, And you can't even count that long. You only know that by the time this is over, you'll be older than your mother. She also mentions that the years are divided into 3 parts. The first part, which is the first 10 years, is for learning. You learn every rite, every prayer, every formula in the correct order, spoken at the correct hour, in the correct tone. The second 10 years is for performing duties. Here, there is no more practice, no more patience for errors. It is here you're trusted to tend the flame, haul the water, and prepare the offerings. She tells you that the peace of the city depends on what you do in those 10 years. Although Rome will not know your name, it will feel your work. Finally, in the last 10 years, you're expected to teach the new girls. Only after 30 years will you be allowed to leave. She asks if you understand. You don't, but you say you do. Then you catch her by surprise with your next question. You ask how many years she has left in the temple. She laughs and rubs your shiny bald head as she says, "Very little, beloved. Very little." You want to also ask what she is going to do after she leaves, but your little mind believes you won't like the answer. Then she takes you to your first lesson. At the lesson, you sit at the back and watch. That is the first lesson. Watching. How to pour without spilling. How to kneel without tripping on your robes. How to grind the spelt for the mola salsa until it becomes the correct texture. Not close, not almost, but correct. After weeks of watching, you're allowed to stand closer. Then months later, you're given small tasks. Hold this vessel while she pours. Sweep the floor in this pattern, not that one. Measure the salt. Exactly this much, not a grain more. But that's not the only thing you learn, as you also learn the temple's hierarchy. The Vestalis Maxima, the chief priestess, is at the top. The senior priestesses are below her. The novices are beneath them. And you, the newest, are beneath even them. But during lessons, you catch on quick, even quicker than the novices, and everyone notices, including the senior priestesses, who correct you harder for it. They call it pride. You don't argue. You take their correction with your jaw set and your eyes fixed on their faces. They correct you again just to see if you'll break. You don't. This makes you a prime victim for their bullying. You're slapped for breathing too loudly during prayer. You kneel on salt until your knees split because they saw a stain on your robe. You endure this for years. But still, you persevere. By 13, you are already hauling water. By 15, you're allowed to prepare mola salsa for minor festivals. And by 16, you're even allowed to watch the flames with one other priestess, of course. The truth is, before you turn 17, you're a priestess in all but name. And this stops the bullying too. A year later, you turn 17. In the courtyard, the Vestalis Maxima calls you forward. Her words are formal as she adjusts your robes. She looks at you, really looks, and for a moment, something behind her eyes shifts. Recognition. Warning. You don't know. Honestly, you don't care. What you care about is what she says next. You are no longer a novice, she says. You are a priestess of Vesta now. The very next day, you tend the flame alone for the first time. No one watching, no one correcting, just you and the fire. You think about what this means. 20 years left till freedom. By 18, you know every festival by heart. Vestalia, Lupercalia, Forticidia. You attend them all in full ceremonial dress, season after season, year after year. The mola salsa you prepare now goes on actual sacrifices. The water you carry now purifies the actual temple. Your word in any Roman court requires no oath. And the privileges arrive. They are real, and you feel them. Front row at the games, a bodyguard clears the street ahead of you. One time, a condemned man was pardoned simply because he crossed your path. You also see senators, generals, and the most powerful men in Rome lowering their eyes when you pass. Not because they fear you, because it's tradition. But for a moment, it almost feels like power. You are 21 when men start to look your way. They know it's against the law to sleep with a priestess. They still try anyway. But there's a reason they still try. You've heard rumors about how some priestesses have found ways to live fully. Some have lovers outside the temple. Others have found solace among themselves. But you don't care about the rumors. You send them away with a promise to marry them after your 30 years tenure. They tend to disappear after that. You use this for years, until a general requests to meet you. He's been on multiple campaigns and has always come out victorious. Between that and his dashing looks, he's the kind of man Rome builds statues for while he's still breathing. He saw you across the Colosseum during a game, and since then, he's been pestering you. It started with gifts. You returned them. Then the summons followed. You ignored them. Now he has appealed to the Vestalis Maxima for private spiritual counsel. You cannot ignore him this time, so you attend to him. In that counsel, he professes his love to you. You already knew this was where he was going. He wasn't the first. You also know he won't be the last. So you tell him what you tell every other man that has approached you. That you'll marry him, willingly, happily, the day your 30 years end. He smiles like a man who just won something as he agrees. He comes back 3 weeks later. This time, he doesn't look dashing. He looks dangerous. You ask why he's here so soon. He says he came to see you, that he needs convincing first, that marriage is a large commitment, and you need to give him a reason to wait. You are 23 years old, and you understand exactly what he is saying. You decline. Immediately, he reaches for you. You were expecting it, so you jump back. But he's an experienced soldier, so he follows through as he barges into you. It is then that you catch a whiff of his breath. Wine. You realize he's intoxicated. Immediately, you grab whatever is next to you and hit it on his head. He staggers, but lets you go. You escape. Not gracefully, not quietly, but you get out. From that day on, he never returns. Years pass and you turn 25. You've been following the same routine for the past decade. Flame, water, mola salsa, festival, repeat. At this point, you know every stone in this temple by name. Then one day, while you're watching the fire, you hear rumors. Normally, you wouldn't pay rumors mind, but this one has your name in it. Someone has been saying things about you, ugly things. You hear the word incestum attached to your name like a curse. They say you have broken your vow to the goddess. You deny it, calmly, completely, and you don't take it seriously. But the rumors grow. They find new mouths and new ears and new details that nobody can verify, but everybody repeats. The flame flickered during the northern campaign. The gods are displeased. There is impurity in the atrium. Now you are angry. One day you're summoned by the Vestalis Maxima. When you meet her, she's with 2 senior priests. They ask you to confirm the accusations. This time you challenge them directly. You dare your accuser to bring evidence or stay silent. You ask that if someone has proof or a name, they should produce it. Immediately, the room goes quiet. You think you've won. Then he walks in. The general. He is in full armor. He looks composed, but everyone can see that there's grief on his face. He says he comes reluctantly, and that he was the one behind the rumors. But he also insists that they're not rumors. He says one of his soldiers, after a particularly gruesome defeat, confessed to an arrangement with a priestess of Vesta. You. He says the soldier believed the gods were angry with him, which led to the series of defeats. He says he killed the man immediately, in rage, in horror, in service to Rome's honor. Then he reaches into a pouch at his side and pulls out a single gold bead. He places it on the table. The room leans forward. He continues speaking, saying the soldier claimed you gave it to him as a promise, a token, a sign you both would meet again. Then he looks at you, not with anger, not with triumph, but with practiced sorrow. He suggests gently that someone count the beads on your ceremonial gown. The silence that follows is the worst sound you have ever heard, because you remember that night, the struggle, his hands, and you understand with a coldness that starts in your chest and spreads outward like ice on still water that this all started on that fateful night. The beads on your gown get counted in front of everyone by the Vestalis Maxima. She counts once, twice, then a third time. She finds one bead missing from the border of your ceremonial gown, and when she matches the general's bead to yours, they're identical. You expect the room to erupt. It doesn't. Instead, it just goes very still. And when you look at their face, you see disgust. Immediately you tell them about that night, the waiting room, the struggle. You tell them he took the bead himself, that he planned this long before the battle, long before the rumors, and long before the soldier who conveniently died. They listen. They nod. They do not believe you. Or perhaps they do. It doesn't matter either way, because the general story reaches the forum by nightfall. By morning, it has reached every district in Rome. The city that once lowered its eyes when you passed now shouts your name in the streets like a condemned criminal. Even the criminal that was pardoned for crossing your path joins them. Then you do something you never thought you'd ever do. You send word to your father that you're innocent. You wait for his reply. It never comes. At the same time, Rome keeps losing battles. More dead soldiers are shipped home in carts. More families mourn. The priests say the gods are furious, and everyone knows the reason. Hint, it's you. In days, the protests reach the walls of the atrium. Crowds stand outside day and night, chanting for your blood in the name of divine justice. It gets so bad, the Pontifex Maximus summons you himself. You walk into his chamber, and you tell him everything, calmly, in order. Every visit, every returned gift, every summons ignored, the night in the waiting room, and your escape. He listens to all of it. Then he tells you he believes you, but his opinions don't matter. Rome needs a body, he says. The gods need appeasement, and his hands are tied. He asks you to do it for Vesta, for Rome, for peace. You look at him for a long time. Then you ask quietly if Vesta actually requested this, or if it was just him all along. He doesn't answer. As he leaves the room, two priestesses enter. You finally understand what's going on. The decision had been made already. One priestess strips your sacred fillets. These ribbons have bound your hair for close to 20 years. Now they're removed in under a minute. They dress you in white. Not the white of a priestess, but the white of a corpse. They place you in a covered litter and bind it shut with cords. Soon, you feel the litter moving. You know they're going around Rome. They show you off on the same streets your guards once cleared. Men step back. Women look away. Your father is somewhere in the crowd. You don't see him. You can't even see. Still, you know where you're being taken to. The Campus Celeratus, the underground room where guilty virgins are left to die. You already know what to expect. After all, you were taught about it years ago. You know what to expect inside. A bed, a burning lamp, and a meal arranged on a small table. It's almost like they expect you to stay a while. You think it's probably a way for them to avoid spilling a virgin's blood. At the sight, you walk out of the litter. The Pontifex Maximus raises his hands to the heavens. His lips move in a prayer no one can hear. Then he turns away. You descend the ladder yourself. Halfway down, your robe catches on something. Someone reaches toward you. You pull back. You adjust the fabric yourself and straighten your veil. If this is the last thing you do, it will be done correctly, and it will be done without Rome helping you. You reach the bottom as you're sealed shut. All you have as company now is the dark, a bed, and the flame of Vesta, burning quietly in the place they put you both to die in. But hey, at least you had great seats at the Colosseum.